And that should be started. Okay, welcome. Hi, everyone. My name is Tobi. I'm one of the librarians here at SCC. Thank you all for being here in person. And for those of you online, thank you so much for being here as well. We have about 50-50 in person and online for our attendance here today. So thank you all for being here and good morning. Happy Wednesday. Wednesday. Did you have a good long weekend? Yeah. Restful. It's always hard to ask students the question of how your long weekend was, because I know you often have homework or jobs or other things going on. But I hope you were able to take a little bit of a rest for that. Right. So we are here for part 2, and you may have come to part 1. I know some of the folks online were in part 1. You may not have been able to come to part 1. That's totally fine because you're here for part 2, and I'm super happy to have you here today. We have 1 hour, and we're talking about generative AI. Do y'all hear a lot about generative AI in your classes? Some? Yeah. Do you have feelings about generative AI?
He just means AI.
I just mean AI.
Yeah.
I just mean AI.
The terminology could be different.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely understandable. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you will see me kind of using those two interchangeably, AI and generative AI. Here in the library, we have been putting on workshops like this on the topic of AI, of generative AI, for about 2.5, almost 3 years. I think this is coming up on 3 years that we've been putting on these workshops. And we always have a range of topics. So starting with an introductory workshop at the beginning of each quarter that talks about the technology, talks about the terminology, AI, generative AI. And then we dive in a little deeper to a different topic beyond that. And that has been changing because this technology and this conversation has been changing so rapidly as well. So I would definitely encourage you, if you do have questions, you are interested, to check out some of our previous workshop recordings. Those are all made available, as will this one be, on our LibGuide or library guide. You're probably familiar with those, you might have seen those before. And I'll share the link to the library guide as well as finally the link to the slides in the recording will be included on here. We'll share that with your instructor for those in the class here today, and for those online who have signed up through the link, that will go out to you via email too. So you'll get that. And if you want to watch some of our previous workshop sessions, I highly encourage you to do so. So we'll get that out to you. Here today in spring 2026, a little background for some of you in the room here. We have been talking about this for a while. We have had lots of different topics. And I think at a certain point, the conversation around AI, it's coming at all angles. And this spring, we wanted to take a little bit of a break from the lecture-based workshop where we're sharing information. And we wanted to do something a little different and ask a question, fun or foe, right? Fun or foe. Generative AI, there's a lot of conversation around it. And we're wondering, is it possible to have fun with this technology? Or is this a foe? Is this something that we don't like, something that we don't want to be involved in, right? And I don't have an answer to that question. I wish I did. But this workshop series that we're doing this quarter is designed to introduce you to some uses of generative AI. And here today, we're really going to provide an opportunity for discussion around some big questions related to AI. Right? So we're not advocating either way. We're not saying this is the best thing in the world, like let's jump on this train and let's do this. We're not saying get rid of it, throw it away, ban it completely. I never want to hear it again. This series is not advocacy support either way. Hopefully, the goal of this series and this session today is to introduce you to an invitation to think critically about generative AI and a safe place for discussion. That's the goal. It is discussion based. Are you willing to discuss? You don't have to. I won't pressure you. I won't force you to discuss, but I would love if you did. And if you don't feel comfortable, and those online as well, of course, if you don't feel comfortable discussing, that's completely fine. Hopefully you can listen and you can think about it for yourself. Maybe you've thought a lot about these questions we're raising today. Maybe it's the first time you're thinking about it. Either way, we're happy to have you here, and we hope that you get a little something out of this workshop today. Sound good? Okay, cool. So we are going to play a Jeopardy game. All right. And this Jeopardy game has been created kind of by AI. All the questions have come from your librarians. All the questions, all the educational material has come from your librarians. And all the answers are coming from you in the room here. But the game, what we're looking at and how it's functioning, was actually created by AI. With human support, with human prompting, but by AI. And so it's non-traditional Jeopardy, because the way that Jeopardy usually functions didn't work for this workshop. Usually Jeopardy has a right or a wrong answer. And these questions, I'm so sorry to say, they do not have a right or a wrong answer. And I wish that they did. So there's no correct answer and there's no winner of our Jeopardy today. Okay. It really is a discussion-based Jeopardy. So what we're going to do is go around, and if you feel comfortable, we can go one by one, choose a category and a number, just like you do in traditional Jeopardy. I want ethics for 200, and then I'll read out the question. Everyone can share if you feel comfortable sharing just a number ranking of your level of agreement with that question, so we can get a little bit of a poll of how we feel about that question, right? And then, as I say, if you feel comfortable, we can do some discussion. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay, perfect. Everyone shares their ranking, discuss, and of course, I have no doubt that it will be so. But some of these questions are on topics like ethics and like professional values and integrity and academic integrity. So as you do in all of your classes, we're coming to this discussion with good intentions and with respect of everybody in the room, knowing that there's lots of different opinions, but that is okay. We're here in a college classroom, and we have the utmost respect for each other. Sound good? Okay, I am going to then, okay. So as I said, it's what you're seeing right now, this is a collaboration between myself and AI. Claude AI is what I use for this. So this is my first time doing this live, right? And if there are technical problems, then there could be technical problems. And I actually think that's kind of an interesting part of this conversation about using generative AI in the workplace. This is my job. So if this messes up, whose fault is that, right? Not that we want to place blame in the workplace. That's not what I mean. But who takes ownership of that? Does Claude take ownership of that? I take ownership of that. So it's possible that we might have a couple hiccups with this. So your patience is appreciated, but hopefully we don't. Everyone online, are you able to see our Jeopardy game here? Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, wonderful. We have 5 categories: ethics, academic integrity, professional integrity, art, and creativity. I will tell you, art is the only one that has actually a yes or no answer, a correct answer. Okay. We're going to do a sample question together so you can get a feel for what we're doing here. Would anyone be willing to choose a category? You can, yeah, go for it. Art for 500. All right, going for the big number. Okay, so we are going to open this question, and I'm going to ask your opinion on whether or not this piece of art is AI generated. All right. So we can, number 1, strongly disagree. 3, neutral. I'm not sure. 5, strongly agree. What do you think? Is this piece of art AI generated? Okay, and then yeah, you can, if you're in the room, if you could use your hands to show me what you think. And if you're in the chat, go ahead. All right. I see 1. Ooh, this is tough for me. 1, 5, 3, 5, 5, 5, 3, 3. We got to, okay. I got a 2. I think that I missed 1. 4. 3, 3, 3. Wow, a lot of neutrals on this one. A lot of neutrals on this one. All right, here's a little graph of our responses. So we're really split directly down the middle for this. All right, 7 are 50-50, not sure. Some people strongly disagree. Some people strongly agree. All right. Think this is definitely AI generated. Think it's definitely not AI generated. Very interesting. Okay, so this one does have a right or a wrong answer, but would anyone like to share before we reveal, would anyone like to share for this one, what makes you think it is or is not AI generated? What elements of that inform your answer?
So I'll just say I'm on the fence. I don't exactly know because you've got one side that's kind of more muted, whereas you have the other half of it, the 2 blue hats that are really almost hyper, like you've got some vividness to the coloring that might indicate like AI. Often the colors are really, really vivid, but it's like almost completely different on the orange tabby there. So it's kind of that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Not sure. Good points. We have one in the chat, and then one in the chat I find very interesting. Kathleen has said signature. And Kathleen, does that make you think it is AI generated or is not AI generated? Not. Yep, that's what I thought. So Kathleen says if you look closely, there's a little signature down at the bottom. Great spot.
Tabby and the flowers in the back. First marks, they look more handmade than they would.
More handmade.
The
Yeah.
details are just more placed.
Yeah. That maybe more attention to detail than AI could produce. More human creativity. Yeah. And in the chat, variation in the flower petals makes me think it's not AI generated. Okay, I think similar to what we heard in the room here about those flower petals, that detail. Okay, alrighty. So I will go ahead and reveal the answer. This is not AI generated. This is by a real artist, Kathleen, who caught that signature. Yes, it is not AI generated. This is indeed by a real artist with the citation here. This was made around 1920s, 1930s, right? Which surprised me a lot personally. Yeah. That's why I put it as 500 because I was the 500-point question. I was quite surprised by that. Okay, all right. Any thoughts on that? Sure. Interesting. All right. Okay, so that one we have a right or a wrong answer. Are you getting kind of a feel for it? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, let's try another category. Who would like to choose a category? Anyone want to go for it? Ethics for 500. I like how we're going big in this room here today. I like it. All right. And then after we get this question, I'll have someone in the chat choose the next one. Okay, ethics for 500. As you could guess, there is not a right or a wrong answer to this. This is our critical thinking. This is us really thinking about it. What do you think? Generative AI helps to close access gaps. Or AI, right? AI helps to close access gaps. An access gap, something that gets in the way, a barrier to something, right? And generative AI helps us to close those. It makes things more equal or more equitable. Whew, this is a tough one. All right. So we have 4. For those online, I'm looking in the room here and trying to capture everyone. And online we've got a two. Very interesting. Greg 6. So interestingly, just something from my perspective over here in the room, we had a bit on the higher. We had more of the 4s and the 3s. Agree more on the agreement side, and in the chat we had 1, 2, 2, 3. And more on the lower on the disagree. Interesting. Okay, anyone who was not counted? Do you feel you weren't counted? I know it's not the most effective. I tried to get this game to be like a Kahoot style or a Quizlet where you could connect with your phones, but that was beyond my capabilities and the capabilities of the partnership between me and Chloe that occurred to create this. So this is what we're doing. All right, I just see someone typing in the chat here. Just want to give them a chance to share. This is a tough one. So this is kind of where we end up. Neutral, understandably, and then a little bit more on the agree, a little bit more on the agree. And I wish that I could reveal the answer, but I can't because I don't have an answer because it's a really complicated ethical question. So some thoughts that I had about this, can there be an ethical good from Gen AI, right? These are the questions we're asking. Can it close access gaps? Can there be a good? Can there be an ethical good? And does that matter? Right. So in the chat here, someone has said internet in general closes gaps. Would anyone like to share your thoughts on this question? What made you agree with this or what made you disagree?
They give you exactly what you want as soon as you want it. Like,
Sure.
very easy to prompt and
Mhm.
very easy to navigate.
Yeah.
Cut
And-
through all the clutter
Yeah.
and all the other stuff that you don't want.
And I'm hearing there that saves time.
Yeah.
That makes it easier for a person to get the information they need.
You can get literally a step-by-step process instead of
Mhm.
one office getting a runaround for 3 hours and
Sure.
then figuring out.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is maybe a way to help close an access gap. Yeah. Did I see a hand or were you just stretching?
I'll jump in. I was gonna say, I was at the 4 level mostly just because I think of it, I feel like it depends on the context that I'm thinking of, right? Like depends on the context, whether it closes or it closes a gap or not, right?
Yeah.
Like, and what are we judging it by? Are we judging it by an output or are we judging it by a skill? So for example, like, would you
Exactly.
this game
Yeah.
and code the game on your own
No, I
without
wouldn't.
Claude? That's a skill set, right?
Mhm.
And so like, yes, it closes a gap that you can create something for that kind of creativity. At the same time, it doesn't build the actual skill.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it like closes one gap or opens one, it closes the gap for one part of it, but it kind of makes another part of it much further away even because it's not getting you any closer to being proficient in coding, if that makes sense.
100%, absolutely. Yeah.
I think the phrase that captures it is that it's a mixed bag.
That's right. Absolutely.
And it kind of looks like
Mhm.
Mixed bag.
it even on the chart. It's like, okay, we all kind of feel like it's a mixed bag, yeah.
Mhm. And I think we're gonna feel that way for a lot of these questions because I think that's from the workshops we've done, that's where it seems we as a human people are with generative AI. It's a mixed bag. It really is. And I would add to what you're saying too. 100%, I would not be able to code this myself. I do not have that level of expertise, right? And so that's a way that I was able to create this product to support my teaching, right? Cool, awesome. Also, to add to that, the membership, this was done with a pro membership to this site. So that's going to be another level that we're seeing more and more. At first, they're like free. ChatGPT, you got it. Gemini, you got it. Claude, you got it, right? And then it's, we're putting a cap on that. Or we're giving you some ads.
Online, there could be good, but people will always use good for bad, and then AI can be wrong as well. You still need to fact check.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you both so much, Lori and Jennifer. If you take anything from any AI conversation here in the library, please take AI can be wrong. You still need to fact check. Right? And I will, on that point, I will reiterate these questions were generated by a human being, just for what we're looking at here right now. And that is something to think about, with generative AI as well. There can be good, people will always use for bad. Absolutely. Again, I love how we went to the 500-point ethics question. You really wanted to dive into the ethical meat of it. Any other thoughts on accessibility with generative AI? All right, let's see what's next. Someone online, would you like to throw in a category and a point value into the chat? Shout out. Yep, you can absolutely shout it out as well. They're typing. I noticed we haven't clicked on academic integrity yet. Academic integrity is a tough one. Professional integrity, 300. Thank you. Right in the middle. Can I just comment on how it's the smack dab in the middle? And I like that. Okay, so professional integrity, we're wondering if this use of AI would be okay, would be acceptable. Maybe if you would feel comfortable doing this in a professional environment. What are your thoughts on this? A professional uses AI to analyze data. Decisions are made based on the analysis. One is disagree. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Two is disagree. Thank you for asking. Yeah. All right. When you can take your time to think about it, and then yeah, please keep your hands up. It helps me. Is this an acceptable use of Gen AI in the workplace? Go around the room. Okay. Two. Yeah. And in the chat, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1. All right. Is that everyone in the chat? Okay. Did I get you? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Right. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. No fives whatsoever. Great point. Other points, other thoughts? Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Computers are good with math and things like that, so it's maybe a little bit okay.
Mhm.
I always would trust a computer with data more than I would with people. I'm sure there's always human error, but on the same note, it is, I think hard to trust in AI, and I think that it can be wrong, and then they're making decisions based on that,
Mhm.
and it could have been caught
Yeah.
with a checking.
So maybe the decisions is where this changes ethically or for integrity. Hey, if I'm using it to analyze the data so I can understand it personally, that might be one thing. But if then I'm turning around to my job and I'm making decisions that impact people, maybe that's different. Yeah. Go for it.
Same as like using like AI to do your homework.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
yes, you can ask questions, like you said, to like better understand like the material and everything, but to go as far as like just flat out using it to do your homework is like.
Yeah.
It's like, like people are going to school for these like careers and then they're just using
Mhm.
AI to do their job, like that's so.
Yeah.
Absurd.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how about the pieces we've used it for, Rita, though, is that, can that enhance learning at times? Or is
Well,
it
yeah.
a black and white check?
Well, like the first, like AI assignment that we did in class, it was exactly that, like it proved that AI can. do
Yeah.
We did like, what was it,
The two truths and a lie, and
lie.
then, I just really wanted them to understand credibility issues on
Absolutely.
day one.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
and that right there just is super helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I have one in the chat and I see you and I want to make sure everyone is heard. So we had in the chat, it should be checked, not used alone. And that builds off what we're talking about here, right? And I think to your point too, we need to verify the credibility. We need to evaluate the output of the AI. Just want to,
Like question behind then.
Yeah.
Should have had.
Yeah.
The severity of the situation.
yeah.
I would agree with all of that. I went a little higher on my own thoughts, but I think it's because I do feel like you have to have that human element. If you take the human element out of it, AI can't give you context, right? So if you're making these huge decisions that, as you say, affect swaths of people that are, that could be, AI doesn't understand human context. So giving it data that can output maybe a report that you could say, okay, I'm going to look at these numbers. Now what else impacts these numbers? And having it help collate data, I think is one thing. Making decisions alone without it, I don't think it should be left like just to free with,
Yeah.
here, let's make all the decisions with AI.
Yeah. I'm going to show my discussion note here because I think it comes in. Some thoughts I had on this. Does it matter what industry, right? I'm here, I'm a librarian, I work in the library. I've utilized AI to help make this game, right? It's not a decision. That's not a decision. AI isn't choosing what's right or wrong, but does it matter what industry? Does it matter if we use it to make a decision in the library about what books to keep versus if a doctor or a nurse uses this technology, right, to make a decision, or a lawyer uses, or an insurance company, right? Does it matter what industry? Does it matter what decisions and accountability? Who is accountable for the decisions? Any other thoughts with that in mind? No? Okay. Let someone in here. It looks like we got some folks typing in the chat. Thank you for your participation and your thoughts on this.
I
Yeah.
think that is like the fair point about like, it does matter, like what's the question you're talking about in the first place. It's like, if I'm going to the doctor because I have like X amount of symptoms,
Mhm.
if they're just using AI to diagnose me, like I could have just done that at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing anyway. Before I go.
Greg says, do they have much control? Vendors in these industries may be bringing the tech into various apps and software, and it might be difficult to escape using it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Might be difficult to escape using it and talking about like integration, right? Integrating it into our phones, integrating it into search, things that we're probably seeing a lot already. I think about the doctor or medical setting where I personally recently experienced going to the doctor and they ask if you're okay with it being recorded and transcribed using AI. And I don't know how much of a choice I actually had in that. Right? Yeah.
Wait, actually, I just went to a doctor's appointment a couple of weeks ago where she was just actually like, I didn't go back to her after that, but she was like stopping me for a second and like just like repeating like just using like the voice to type instead, or like the voice to like transcribe. So it's like weird saying like just having her be like, oh, patient said this, and this, and I'm like, I'm right here.
Yeah, I've experienced the same. I go in and they're like, patient's weight is this and height is this. And I'm like, hey, I didn't need you to remind me of that. Just repeating it to the machine for the AI transcription. Yeah. Okay. So maybe industry does matter. All right. We're going to mark that one as played. I'm going to take one verbally in the room and then someone in Teams as well, please share. And then we'll go to that one next. So verbally in the room, someone would like to choose. Academic for 300. We're getting into it now. We're getting into it. Okay. I will say with academic integrity again, I think there's only one question here that has an explicit right or wrong answer. And I do have to disclaim every class and every instructor is going to have their own policy and is going to, think differently. So, again, we're considering, we're debating, we're thinking critically about the question. Please don't tell a future instructor that the librarian said it was okay for me to do this, and that's why I did it. We're not advocating for or against. That was a joke. A student uses Gen AI to brainstorm ideas for their paper. This is an academic integrity violation. To brainstorm ideas for their paper. And again, I will say class dependent. Classes may differ. Instructors may say absolutely not, no. And for that class, we may have a different answer than another one. Disclaimer. I like the, okay. Okay. Someone online has said, I think it's okay as long as it isn't doing all your work. All right, so is there a difference between brainstorm? Did I get one from you? You were two? It's okay if you don't have an answer right now. All right. I saw primarily twos in the room. Would anyone agree or strongly agree brainstorming would be an academic integrity violation? It's not a trick question. I'm not trying to get y'all. Like I said, it's a safe place to discuss the question. All right. Someone in the chat has said one teacher told us we could use AI for brainstorming, but I don't use it. Yeah. Perfect.
But you already did like your own brainstorming, so it's kind of like trying to add,
Okay.
expand it.
Yeah.
But
Not like give you all the.
not like give you
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah. Mhm.
AI can ideas or maybe expand on an idea that you were thinking about, and it can help give you like a little bit of perspective. But it's not gonna be the best, you don't have to back it up, you can't verify or take it from like anything like that, so you have to like be knowledgeable, but then it can also send you down different pathways or maybe tell you something that you didn't know, and then you can do more valid research about those things. And so I think it's not a violation, integrity violation, but it can be used in a way that's not.
It's a really fine line. It's really hard to navigate through. Yeah. And I saw a hand. I have a couple in the chat here. So someone in the chat has shared. So what I heard from you is perspective, right? Maybe maybe I'm the type of person who just likes to talk it out, who likes to talk out my ideas, right? But I don't have anyone to talk to right now about that, and I just want a second perspective. Yeah.
And online it says, also think of stemming this down. I remember doing research projects and having to research actual books. Another says, I agree it's a tool to be used, but copying the output would be the same as copying a friend's paper.
Right.
I think context for myself wise, it's like, I did a 3, I think I was the only 3. I was like, it kind of depends, right? Like, as a librarian, I can say, okay, maybe I don't know enough about the topic that I'm researching, that I don't even know the words to use to research. And I can say, oh, okay, AI can help me say, okay, this is my thesis. I don't know what words to search databases with, right? I'm like, what words can send me up a direction? Yeah, go ahead.
But then if you don't know, like, that's your responsibility. Like, you know, like if the thesis is like, if the assignment is being given, like, they're like the likelihood of the teacher assigning something without like she's not gonna assign an essay on a book that you haven't read.
I'm thinking more along the sciences, for example. Okay, you're wanting to delve into, let's say, a deep science topic, and let's say you're a student with, you're coming in, you're a second, third, fourth language learner, right? That students who are coming in don't necessarily have the vocabulary, right? They don't know the academic vocabulary, or maybe they just don't have the academic vocabulary that's there. It's like that's where they can learn the academic vocabulary to put them in the right direction. Right, so that they can find the right resources to learn about the topic that they're trying to learn about, right? So like there's this, that's why I was saying, it's like there's kind of a fine line. Whereas if I'm like, okay, there's a teacher who's assigning a creative writing piece, and I want to brainstorm creative writing, and I'm gonna have it develop a storyline for me, that I don't think is okay, right? Like there's that line of, okay, am I using it to do my own stuff, or am I using it to create something that should be artistically created by myself? But that's like a personal line. So, yeah.
It is definitely a fine line, and I will reiterate, different instructors are going to have different policies on it at this institution and at other schools that you attend as well. Always default to what your instructor's policy is in their syllabus. If you have any questions, get that clarity from them. When it comes to, you know, my take on this, brainstorming ideas for a paper, where is the line and who decides? Again, really, as we said at the beginning, it is really hard to say on any of these, right? When you have an instructor who very clearly articulates and shares and documents their intention and their policy in a class, right? They're probably the one deciding. But also I would encourage folks to make your own decision as well. Do you want to write a paper on something that you're interested in, that you've come up with, that maybe you've had a little conversational help, but it's something you're interested in? Is that going to be a paper that you really enjoy writing more, or you know, a paper that maybe didn't come from your own brain, right? ChatGPT or Gemini said, "Hey, how about this topic?" And you were like, "Yeah, you know, but okay, go that way." So coming back to what you're getting out of it, you're here to get your education. You're here because you want to be here, because you want to learn, because you want to move into the careers that you're dreaming of. And you're paying to be here, and you're spending your time, and you're spending your energy. So I hope that everyone in person, online, and watching the recording too is really coming to get the most out of that in the way that works for them. So that's just my little personal take on it. Yeah. In the chat here, kind of talking about some ways, and I like what we're talking in the chat, because what's being brought up is this isn't all new. Someone in the chat has said watching the movie versus reading the book, right? How many of you were assigned something like Romeo and Juliet or a different Shakespeare play, Midsummer's Night's Dream, and maybe in high school, right? And yeah, there might have been the option to, I'll watch the Scarlet Letter movie instead of read the Scarlet Letter book, right? So it's not new. It's not new. We're kind of, humans are often looking for shortcuts, right? Or Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes are pretty much, does anyone here remember Cliff Notes? Oh yeah, okay, we got one. Online, we have some Cliff Notes, yeah. Cliff Notes website, they came in books as well, and it was literary texts, things like Shakespeare, that then were simplified, and main themes and topics and characters explored for you. Okay. All right. I'm going to mark that one as played. Let's see. I'm going to actually throw you guys an art one just to get a little energy up in here. Sorry, I'm taking the decision because I like art for 100. What do you think about this cat? Do you think that cat's AI generated? Yeah. I like it. Yeah. What do we think? 5 for AI generated, 1 for not generated. Ooh, that is a great question, but I don't believe I am. So I'm going to note that down too.
Might be able to just do a
Oh,
control.
you know what?
Control plus at least.
On the browser instead of on the. All right. What do we think about this little kitty cat? AI generated 5. Was that 5? Strongly rate 5. Not generated 1. I'm gonna have to scroll away to input our answers here. I'm gonna do online first. I got a 3, 5, 5, 3, 4. All right, so 5, I haven't done anyone in the room yet. I haven't done anyone in the room. 5 is strongly agree. The cat is AI generated. Okay. 1, 4, 5, not AI generated, not AI generated, not AI generated, not AI generated. Neutral, right in the middle. Pretty cute cat. And then 10, 10. I got 2 online, a 3, and a 1 online. Okay, we're pretty split on this kitty cat. We are pretty split on this kitty cat right here. The cat is not AI generated. The cat is not AI generated. This cat comes from a painting called Cat, a really bold name for that, from 1894. And I think maybe Pierre had not seen a cat before. Maybe he wasn't familiar with the way that cats looked, but this is not an AI generated cat. It does not have a neck. It does not. It is quite a fun little internet rabbit hole to go down of older paintings of cats and dogs and horses and other animals that the painters had not seen before. All right, just wanted to get a little whimsy in there. We're going to mark that one as played, and I'm zooming back out. A lot of these questions are really heavy. And so breaking it up with a little fun. All right. Anyone in the room want to choose our next category? Go for it.
Creativity for 500.
Creativity for 500. Thank you. Okay. All right. Creativity is a big topic with generative AI. Is it the death of creativity? Can you be creative? What is AI slop? Right? How is it trained? Ooh, this is a tough one. Generative AI use in the creative process is intellectual theft. Right? A little context for this. AI is trained off of lots of data, right? Lots of images, lots of writing from authors and creators that may or may not have given their permission. So that idea of intellectual theft, right? We do know that AI is trained on data on coming from people who may or may not have given permission, right? Does that mean then that any generative AI use in the creative process is then intellectual theft? I don't know. Think about it in the room. I'm going to grab some from the chat here. We're staying quite in the middle, and that's what I'm seeing in here too. Okay. All right. Did I get you? Four, three, four, three. Four. Okay, we had a 4 with a caveat. We had a 4 if it was used without permission. It's theft. And just a side note while we're thinking, you'll notice on those 2 previous art picks that I shared, I did include the citation of where they're coming from. AI did not give those to me. I got those from one of our library databases, JSTOR. If you need pictures, JSTOR is a great place to go. And the citation is provided for you. That was good old MLA format that we like. All right, another 4. We've got lots of 4s and neutral. Generative AI use in the creative process is intellectual theft. Okay, so we're much more on the side of agree, even strongly agree, and neutral. Would anyone like to share their thoughts on this? Any thoughts you'd like to share?
But that's not creativity.
It's not creativity.
If you're thinking of something or somebody else, it's not your own fault.
Yeah, it's not your thoughts.
That's the whole point of creativity. It's like
To create,
it's supposed to be like you, like
to
unique
create
to
it.
you.
Yeah. Is it, and I don't agree or disagree, to throw a question back that's come up. Before generative AI, did artists look to other artists and think about, oh, that's what that guy's doing? That's a cool idea. Mhm.
Kind of like, the way I look at it is, same thing like engineering and drawing. A bunch of people, they come up with their drawing and designs and then they leave it behind or something, somebody else picks it up and leave it over the open. I mean, same thing with using the AI. You start giving it the prompts and it starts feeding in the information, somebody else picks up on it.
Yeah.
Get a patent at first. Gotta be quicker than that.
Well, then exactly, it's not creativity. It's somebody else's idea.
But yeah, but
Just
what
because,
is,
just because they took it, that's what I said, like, regardless if they take it from AI or from somebody else, like, it's not creativity. That didn't come from their own, like, thought process, and they're literally like their own brain.
I hear you really zooming in here, and I like it on our category, creativity. I hear you zooming in on what is creativity. How do we define creativity?
I'm gonna jump in from
Yeah,
the online.
chat,
Online
please do.
says, if I were to use the creative style of an artist to create my own image, painting, etc., is that theft? Another one says, it depends on if they're using AI as a tool to help with part of the process for the actual creation or for the actual creation. And then there was a response to, if it were used to create your own thing in the style of, is it theft? And they say, I don't think so unless you're using your own hand. You know, but you're still using your own hand to do the work, right? Like you're still creating a thing, but it's in the style of,
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing those out, and thank you in the chat for sharing your thoughts. It's a tough one. It's really hard. And again, no right or wrong answer. Did you want to say something?
Specific style art and maybe make your own painting or idea, whatever, but you're using somebody's like trademark style, this is what they do, then you are, that is still a theft, or you're taking something from somebody. It's like regardless of right or wrong, there's still a level of you're taking something without.
Of intellectual theft. There's still a level of theft with that. Yeah. I know your hand came up first. Yeah, go for it.
Well, it's like, what if I go a picture of the Mona Lisa and a picture of myself? It's
Mhm.
not gonna look the same, but it's still
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Is it still creativity?
No, it's not, I would have never thought about how to draw
Yeah.
the Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I just.
I just want to jump
Go
over
ahead,
to
yeah,
the
please.
student who had something to share, if you don't mind. Being yourself with your own style.
You're like seeing a bunch of like, what everyone else is seeing when they search that up. So you're just
Mhm.
basically creating a streamlined process where you fall in line rather than develop something new.
Is that to what, the point here about creativity as well? Is that kind of similar, like you're robbing yourself of something, of the opportunity to create from yourself? Would that be similar to what you're saying? Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I don't like it whenever I put my own writing into it and then it gives me feedback on it, then it makes me want to change everything from it.
It makes you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't like the way it tries to edit it or change it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, I feel like it just butchers up my writing.
Mm-hmm.
Online says writers, actors, comedians, speakers, et cetera, all copy someone. I will just put all forth also. I'm a 3 on this because I feel like there really is a line because there is a point of, yes, there is, you want to have that independent creative process, right? You want it to be your own. But then I think to music, which I'm a musician, and the idea of, okay, so the chord, there's a chord progression in rock or in country or in jazz, it's all developed in Western music from a certain style, right? Where it's all developed from somewhere and you could do something totally different with it. But we see the same chord progression. Okay, who are we stealing from? But we've created different genres all around this baseline structure, right? So where does the structure end? And where does your own personal creativity begin? And I think that's really a question to grapple with AI, just as one more tool in ways of, we have to grapple with this question on a personal level.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah.
And to be fair, copyright hasn't caught up with AI. So there really isn't even at this point
Yeah.
a line of saying, oh,
Mhm.
this is where that line is of creativity and what belongs to me versus what, okay, so this Jeopardy game that she used Claude to help create. Where's let's say she wanted to sell it.
Yeah. Is
Okay,
Jeopardy gonna
where's
come
that
for me?
intellectual property?
Because-
Does this belong to her? Does it belong to Claude? Is it,
Yeah.
and not that she's gonna sell this, it's not that little, but the idea of
Yeah.
copyright. So,
I'm assuming this class ends at 9:20.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I thought we had till 9:30. Yes.
Do you remember something I told you about intellectual property and what is lying in this class? And I told you
Right.
not allowed.
Wrong in the text.
Yeah, I told my students as sort of step one in learning about what ownership is. They are not allowed to put directly copy and paste my prompt into AI. They have to come up with their own language to try to get assistance. And I think that helps prevent letting AI take over their voice too, because their voice is what's going in, not mine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's sort of step one in this issue of intellectual property. That is a huge issue.
I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for bringing your students and thank you for contributing to the discussion. I was not expecting to get through all of these. These are big questions that we don't have answers to. So I hope that it's given you something to think about, and think about for yourself, for your future jobs, for academics, for all of that. We'll get the information over to you, recording of this workshop. And if you're interested in looking at the other questions that are on here, I can also share with you the Jeopardy game itself, if it's something that you would be interested in for those folks in the room here today. For those folks online, I was planning to be here for another 9 minutes. So if you wanted to do a few more online, we absolutely can, but yeah. Any questions before we finish in the room? No? All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My workshop.
All right. Thanks for those online.
I got Peter, I got Avery, I got Logan, I got Davey, I got Leon, I got.
We got 25% of the way done for
Oh,
people
oh,
online
yes,
here.
I got.
I did not count how many folks were in the room.
I got. Tina Zara.
Thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
And anyone else? Yep, oh, got it.
If you're still here
Okay.
online.
Thanks, gang. Of course, see you in here. Well, that was awesome, Toby. Great
Thank
energy,
you.
as we like to say in instruction.
Thank you.
The students, what I like about this class is they're not afraid to speak their voice.
I'm just going to end this video recording real quick. Thank you so much for everyone who attended online. I will send you out the link to our LibGuide with the recording when this is uploaded to YouTube and available to you. And if you have any questions or any thoughts that you would like to share, any ideas for future workshops that you'd be interested in attending, please feel free to let me know. You can let Greg know who's in here and on the invite as well. And we look forward to doing more Gen AI workshops with you in the fall. Thank you so much.